Hey, this is Irvin Griffin. And yes, in case you're wondering where I'm at a place that I rarely frequent, but I must admit it's a good place, called the Rail Yard here in Bluefield. About to have me, as you can see here, hang on a second. About to have me some brew. It's actually Angry Orchard. Home with some burger and chips when they bring it out here. Never consume alcohol without having some food with it. I ain't one of those guys. Anyway, quick thoughts on Thor Ragnarok. I just came from the theater to see it. I have to admit, they did do a different take on it this time. They added some more comedy to it, as well as the serious elements you would expect from a Thor film. And quite frankly, it felt Guardian of the Galaxy-ish, which is kind of funny because, according to the rumors, Thor at the very beginning hooks up with the Guardians of the Galaxy in Avengers Infinity War. We will see. But let's just say the scene at the end indicates, and I don't want to give away too much, but basically Thor ends up fighting his sister, Odin's firstborn, Hela. And Odin, though he only appears briefly in the movie, does play a big factor in it. Of course, we find out what happened and how the Hulk got to Asgard. And Nature Girl 30 is asking me, there's only 2 credit scenes, Nature Girl. A few minutes into the credits, after the, let's say, neon lights credits, and then at the very end, there's credits. Hey, Simply Deep 1985. That's really the only credit, but only one of them is actually significant. And that's the one after the neon credits, as I call it. And Thor, let's say he goes through some changes, and honestly, so does his friend or bro. I don't know how you put friend, enemy, brother, Loki. But of course, as I said, we find out what happens to the Hulk, and we get a new ally in Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie. Of course, it was reported that the Valkyrie was going to be written as bisexual. They don't really point to it blatantly in this. You see, but there is a scene where it's briefly suggested. And it's more not from anything she said or anything that would suggest it. It's more out of reaction, facial expressions, which sometimes are more powerful than actual words. And that's what kind of gives it away. But they don't beat you over the head with it, though. They don't beat you over the head about it. And really, it's a real fun romp. There are some serious parts in it. Asgard is basically in danger of going through what they call their Ragnarok. And I will spoil it a little bit, so if anybody don't want to watch from this point on and hadn't seen the film yet, you got okay, you've been warned. Thor ends up defeating Surtur, but finds out where his father is via help from a guest star. Called, you might remember him, named Doctor Strange, which was at the end credit of Doctor Strange's film. They find Odin, but Odin, well, let's just say he says peace out to this mortal plane when they find him. And basically, the 2 brothers, though they can't stand each other, end up having to fight a common foe, even worse than Loki, and that's in the form of the sister Hela, which ends them up on the planet of Sakaar, where they run into the Hulk. When we last saw him, he was flying in a Quinjet we assumed to another place on Earth, but didn't quite work out that way. Thank you. Didn't quite work out that way. And that's where Valkyrie is. And Valkyrie's story, apparently she ran across this girl before. No, Thanos is not seen in this, but he is implied. That part I will keep to myself, Nature Girl. He is not seen in this, but he is implied. And basically, it becomes a battle not only to escape Sakaar and get to Asgard, but to fight for Asgard's people. And all I will leave is this simple clue. Asgard is not a place. Asgard is the people. When you see the film, you'll figure out what that means. Overall, I would give it about a 3.5 star. Definitely not the worst thing Marvel Cinematic has put out. That honor still belongs to Iron Fist and arguably the Inhumans. I could be worse than that, but I am in a public place. But anyway, that's my opinion of Thor. Is it worth repeated viewings? Unless that's your cup of tea, not really. But is it worth if you got 2 hours to waste? Hey, go for it. Anyway, that's all I got to say on this. I'm Irvin Griffin. I'm out. I'm about to enjoy me some after movie dinner. See you.